Alrighty, so I wanted to have a sit-down conversation, a sit-down training with you this morning about the structure of your presentation. The presentation can take many different shapes. It can take many different forms. It can have many different forms of what you say in the presentation. You could be talking mortgage protection, final expense, Medicare supplement, whatever presentation you're giving, it needs to have structure. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. But maybe it works a few times, but over the course of your career, it'll be very short-lived. Any sales process needs to have a strong sales structure. You walk into a car dealership, they have a structure behind what they're doing. They want to pre-qualify you, show you the car, show you the benefits, sit you down at the table, show you some numbers, and get you out the door with the car. In insurance, we need to have a very similar structure as well. So I have my notes here so I can stay on script, and I'm going to be excited to share with you a little bit of structure and technique on your sales presentation this morning. So, consumers like structure in the sale. Why is that? They like to know where they're starting and where they're going, and they're used to quality salesmen having structure to what they're doing. A presentation also cannot be duplicated if you don't have a consistent structure, script, and system to what you're doing. A lot of agents that struggle because they don't know what they're doing when they get in the home, or they don't do the same thing every single time they get in the home. Sometimes they do this, sometimes they do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you do the same thing every single time, you're going to see way more consistent results. So the consumer likes structure, the agent needs structure. That's a reason why in your presentation you must be doing this. So how do you know if you have it or not? First off, can you write down nearly word for word your presentation? If you can't, you may be lacking structure and scripting to your presentation. Secondly, if you record yourself, well, not if, but when you record yourself in the home, listen to it and see what you're actually saying with your potential clients. If you listen to it and you say, oh my God, I just talked about their cat for 22 minutes and I never even asked them if they had a bank account. No wonder I can't close the sale. Honestly, this is a true story. I had an agent, thankfully he recorded himself, thankfully he was willing to share it, but when he shared it with me, I listened and his warm-up went for over 25 minutes. His warm-up consisted about talking about the lady's cat. And guess what happened? 45 minutes later, he had no sale. He had no structure, he had no direction, and it made no sense what he was doing. So record yourself, listen to what you're saying, and that'll help you reveal what structure you do or don't have. Next, a presentation must have strong transitional moments. What are some transitional moments? Transitional moments are the moment you go from warming up to talking about your meat and potatoes. Transitional moments can be the moment you ask them to go get their existing policy, the moment you ask them to go get their medications, the moment you ask them to get their bank information, and then when you go to close the sale. If you don't have structure, you don't have strong transitions. And if you don't have strong transitions, you don't have a sale. Imagine if you go from this point to this point and your presentation is a bridge. Well, if there's nowhere between the bridges, you fall flat into the ocean and you have no premium at the end of this presentation. So keep in mind, structure helps you have strong transitions, and a strong transition helps you close the sale. So let's talk about the 9 general steps in my presentation. I'm not going to go into the meat and potatoes of that presentation, but I want to give you a little bit of structure for you listening in this morning so you have an idea where to go when you're building the structure of your presentation. Number 1, tactical warm-up. That means you're warming up, you're building rapport, you're getting to know them, but you're not talking nonsense. You're talking information that you need in your presentation. Family, is it local or long distance? Someone they know, someone they never talked to? Who might be the beneficiary, the reason they have this frickin' insurance? 2, occupation. Did they work? What did they do? What language do they speak so you can build commonality in your conversation? If the person was a mechanic, a cook, a cleaner, something that they did, you can use examples they're familiar with to help in the conversation. Recreation. Do they like to have fun? Do they go to church? Do they go on cruises? Get them to smile and laugh about something and then transition into the next step of the presentation. Step number 2, pre-qualification. You gotta find out if they can buy what you're selling. Surprise, you're not running a charity. Not everyone can buy it. Not everybody should buy what you're selling. You need to pre-qualify this prospect and make sure that by the time you get to the close, they can buy what you're selling. Step number 3, the 3 reasons. Now, there are many different versions of the 3 reasons. Let me give you a little example of my 3 reasons. Now, Ms. Johnson, I help people in one of 3 different ways. Number 1, they have insurance, but they're paying more than they should be, and I can help them save money. Number 2, they have some, but it's just not enough. And due to the rising cost of everything, including dying, they want to make sure they're not leaving some of the costs on their family. Number 3, they have no insurance, and if they died this way today, tomorrow their family would be paying the bill. So out of those 3 reasons, which one describes you the most? There you go. Now you've found out if they have insurance or they don't, or really what you're doing there in the first place. Step number 4, at some point, organically, you want to show them your license, picture your family, and build some credibility. Without showing them your license, you're missing the easiest way to build trust and credibility. Literally hold it up and show them, Ms. Johnson, this is my license from the state of Maryland. The state of Maryland trusts me to sit with seniors just like yourself because we find they're in one of 3 situations that we help. And what are you doing? You're also repeating the 3 reasons again so you can continue to put that thought in their head. If you ever listen to radio advertising, you notice they say the same thing 3 times. Take a hint. Say the same thing that's important 3 times in your presentation. Next, step number 5. They have insurance or they don't have insurance. Let's assume in this scenario, they don't have insurance. Your job now is to eliminate all the reasons why they wouldn't buy from you. The TV, the mail, Colonial Pen, different things out there that they see that you can take off of the table. You're essentially taking the next 5 minutes and eliminating the excuses. Conquering the objections before they can come up in the presentation. Whatever it takes, I can get more specific with this later, but when they don't have insurance, your next step simply needs to be why they're doing business with you and they're doing it today. Next, underwriting. Gather all the medications, the list of medications, the recent time they were in the hospital, whatever it takes to figure out what the heck they qualify for. Take all that information, plug it into your brain or insurance toolkits, whatever it takes, so that you have a good answer as to what carrier you can write, what company you're going to show them. You want to make sure you have good placement and good persistency in this business, and that comes from doing good underwriting. And then step number 8, show price and close. Build value in what you're showing them, go over the benefits and the features, show them 3 options, and let them know which one they're going to pick. Step number 9, do the application. Finish the application, button up the sale, build some credibility, build some rapport, warm down with your client, and explain to them, most importantly, Ms. Johnson, what's going to happen next is. When you leave this stage, you have to set the expectation of what happens when you leave the home. If they don't know, they're going to have buyer's remorse. If they don't know when their policy is going to come, who their policy is going to come from, if they have any level of uncertainty, when you leave the home, they're not going to keep what you sold them. So the most important step at all of this stuff is that after you leave, they know what happens next. Because the sale that you sell that doesn't stay on the books doesn't do anyone any good. The policy that pays is the policy that stays. So hopefully that helped you this morning. A little bit of structure to your presentation goes a long way, and understanding step 1 through 9 is a good way of you building some structure into your presentation. Thanks for watching.